like to introduce myself. My name is Ann Lewis. My pronouns are she and her, and I'm the Director of Technology Transformation Services, or TTS, at GSA. In the spirit of inclusivity and accessibility, I am a white woman with dyed reddish hair currently, wearing a denim shirt and standing in a somewhat awkward hotel conference area. So apologies if you hear a little bit of sound as I talk. A lot of the work that we do as technologists in government at TTS and beyond, to me, boils down to two key things. We help agencies and programs to reduce barriers between users and the government services they're trying to access. And we engage with users in a way that meets users where they are. Sometimes this means taking a human-centered approach to studying user behavior to identify barriers. Sometimes this means figuring out how to write plain language content or ensure that implementation vendors have the right user-centered outcomes in their contract terms. Sometimes this means looking at our data to ensure that we're making decisions with data, as we've just heard a little bit about in the previous section. Sometimes this means figuring out how to notify users when they need to take an action or resolve a problem in ways they expect to be contacted based on standards set by private sector products. The work that's happening in this room and in your day-to-day jobs is doing all of these things, and in particular, taking a pragmatic approach to figuring out how to bring the tech and product world best practices into government in ways that actually work for government and then actually work for the users of government systems. Today was an opportunity for all of us to share best practices, share challenges, share stories about what works, where are there opportunities for improvement. And I think we can see that any modernization activity, any change that we make, or opportunity for a fix or a rebuild, is an opportunity to embrace human-centered design principles. And this means not just doing the work, but also being practitioners who teach the folks around us how to use these tactics and how to use these ideas to build better government experiences. As implementation leaders, in our work and in our use of these tools and best practices, we're also bridging the gap between policy and implementation and centering customer experience in all the ways that we work, from who to listen to, what to fix or change, how to prioritize, how to define whether a project or initiative was a success. Customer experience in particular is something that has had many names over the last decade in the private sector world and the public sector world. And it's also something that many administrations have taken on. But it really does seem like this time is different and special. We're not just talking about that customer experience is important or it's a thing to pay attention to. We're not just slapping a customer experience label on our work. We're actually engaging in improving the customer experience of many of our programs and systems in meaningful ways. And we're sharing what we've learned with each other. That's so important. You've all read the excellent policy framework provided by the 21st Century IDEA Act and M2322, OMB's memo on delivering a digital-first public experience. This is a treasure trove of best practices and frameworks for thinking about how to make government actually work for the public. There are a lot of really helpful, actionable starting points in that framework. So I just wanted to applaud the policy framework there. The public's interaction with the government is increasingly digital, as I'm sure nobody in this room will be surprised to hear. But I think even though different agencies and programs and systems were on various trajectories to get to digital first, the pandemic kind of forced a lot of agencies to go there by default because we had to. So for better or for worse, we are solidly in a digital first world when it comes to policy implementation and program management. And this means we as technology practitioners have more modern tools and frameworks to ensure that programs deliver good experiences. And we also have a mandate to use these tools and frameworks and always keep our customers in mind and keep our customers at the center of all the work that we do. You are all leaders in this space. And I just wanted to appreciate all of you for being here, for choosing public service, for choosing to engage in this important work, and for choosing to be thought leaders who are figuring out how to actually make it work for some of the hardest challenges in government. So I hope you all feel empowered by what you've learned and heard from each other on how to make meaningful improvements to our websites and digital services today. As technologists of various stripes, I hope each of you here views yourself as an ambassador for improving digital public experiences, wherever you sit, wherever you go next, whatever you're working on. The meaningful discussions that took place today can and should be taken back to your agency to improve your processes, websites, programs, and start new conversations about what's actually possible with digital experience in government. So thank you for being on the forefront of change in how we work and how and what we deliver. Thank you for being at the forefront of how we determine what success looks like and what's possible. And thank you for being leaders who are willing to show up today, share your experiences with each other, and help us as a government technology community grow together. Thank you for being here.